Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to do a Divine Union check-in. I wanted to do it for a while, actually, throughout August, because there's a lot going on for the connection in August. But I'm trusting when we're doing it because there were things that were playing out that needed to play out in the dynamics and in the connection. And so we're going to do a check-in and see where we're at. So I'm going to connect first of all with the divine masculines and what's been happening through August. So the divine masculine has been very much in his head, overthinking the connection, and a lot of resistance energy has come up from him. So a lot of resistance towards the connection, towards change, towards leaving his comfort zone and leaving karmic situations that he may be in at this time. So this is a collective message that I'm bringing. So I'm going to just collate and collect the energy of the divine masculine of the whole and bring that message through to you. So he is very worried about karmic connections and leaving the environments that he's known for so long, yet deep down in his soul, he knows that the divine feminine is his future, is his path, is his pathway to enlightenment, is the pathway to his heart and opening his heart. And I'm just hearing he has deep love for her, like he's never felt this level of love before in his being. He is noticing what this connection is doing inside of him, so it's opening him up within. So his intuition is stronger. His sensations and feelings are getting more amplified, where he had closed his heart or didn't allow himself to drop into his heart and stayed in his mind. He's now dropping into his heart and he's feeling the sensations in his body. So he's becoming more psychic. His psychic awareness is developing and expanding. Her light is a lifeline for him. I mean, without her in his life is very dark. So she illuminates a lot for him, but she also illuminates his patterns, his behaviors, his toxic behaviors, his limitations that he's placed upon himself. She also highlights where he's holding back from love, where he's hiding his truth, he's not expressing himself, he's not being vulnerable, he's not opening his heart, where he stays in cycles of repetitive behaviors and self-sabotage and low self-worth and not thinking or feeling that he is worthy of love. So she comes in and she illuminates all this. So if the divine masculine is awakened enough to be able to receive the insights from the feminine's light and able to drop into that space of, okay, this is what I need to look at. So she's a wonderful mirror for him. She is a mirror for him. And he is a mirror for her as well. But we'll go into the divine feminine after. So he is a mirror, she's a mirror for him. So she helps him to see all the spaces within him where he has stayed stuck, where he has not been able to break free. And I'm going to call this video Breaking Free, where he has conformed to society's ways, to religious ways, to cultural ways, and where he's not happy in his soul, where his soul is withering and dying inside. And where he stayed in cycles of entrapment, codependency, dependency, pleasing others over pleasing himself, putting others' needs before his own needs, where he has not been able to express himself, where he holds himself from speaking his truth when he needs to speak his truth, and where others have become so used to him being that way that they now take advantage of him and abuse his power and disrespect him. So he's going through a lot, right? He's going through a massive transition right now and a transformation. But he knows deep in his heart that the divine feminine is his light, is his pathway, is the future for him. And they've got work to do together on the planet. So, this connection of divine union, it cannot be out of balance. Like it has to be balanced. Otherwise, if it's imbalanced, it can't rise into the next vibrations. If there's an imbalance in this connection, then it becomes toxic, it can become codependent, it can become dependent, it can become an addiction or an unhealthy attachment. So they have to constantly navigate this energy. When the divine feminine reacts or gets frustrated, the divine masculine then has to step back and look at everything that she's sharing and balance the energy and come back in and then come forward to that connection, and then the divine feminine, then they'll see if they're in balance, if they're able to communicate. Communication has been an issue through August, where there was no communication. So the divine feminine feels that the divine masculine is keeping secrets from her, and she's afraid to open her heart. She wants to open her heart to him, but she's afraid to open her heart to him because she's remembering old cycles of hurt and betrayal that she's experienced, and she doesn't want to go down that route again. So she's kind of observing the divine masculine, how he shows up to the connection. And if he's showing up authentically in his heart, in his vulnerability, then she's willing to step forward. But if he's keeping secrets from her, she feels that's deception. And so it's hard for them to build trust. So trying to stabilize and build trust is right now an issue that they need to work on together. So communication is absolutely key. August, there was no communication. It was difficult, the communication between the two, because of Mercury retrograde, lots of misunderstandings possibly, but they need to communicate if they are going to come together to build this new union. I'm hearing the divine masculine saying, I keep sabotaging this connection. And he wants to apologize to the divine feminine for his behavior, his actions, or his non-actions towards her. He wants to tell her that he's not putting her at the bottom of his to-do list, far from it. She is actually at the top, and he cannot stop thinking about her day and night, 24/7. You are on my mind and in my heart. It is you who is in my heart and no one else. And he apologizes for not being more vocal. It's just a habit that he's become accustomed to, that he just stays in his own energy. He doesn't express himself. He's learning to express himself. He's learning to speak up for his needs. But he realizes that he needs to speak up and speak to the divine feminine more often, so that they can build this union and build the trust and build the foundations of this connection going forward. So he is aware of his behavior. He knows where he goes into resistance, and he's learning to breathe into the resistance, to drop the resistance and drop into his heart. He realizes how often he stays in resistance and stays in his overthinking mind. And he's observing himself at this time. He's observing his behaviors, because until he observes his behaviors, he cannot change them. So he is looking at himself on a deeper level. So that's good. That's good to hear. For the divine feminine, that's great to hear, because, she is in this space where she doesn't know. She doesn't know. She doesn't hear. He doesn't communicate. In telepathically, they're communicating, like they're constantly in connection because they're one. They come from the same blueprint, the same fabric, the same energy, the same cloth. They're made from the same cloth. And that's really important for them both to know, that they are so alike, like they are like each other. They will laugh together, play together, be like the inner child can come out to play. They are home for each other, and they can drop into the deepest place in their heart with each other. But it's breaking down the layers of resistance, codependency, dependency, self-sabotage, lack of self-worth. This connection will bring up all the insecurities, because it is light, like light being shone on your soul and on your life, and is showing you everything. Like no stone will be left unturned, nothing will be missed. And so both have to be able to step back and see within themselves where they're not stepping into their higher selves, where they're not fully showing up for the connection, where they still are guarded and still have resistance and still have wounds that they need to work through, and they still hold themselves back from union and experiencing the highest form of love. So August was really quite a tough month for the unions. But they had to go into that space to then, and it will happen in many cycles. They will go back, forward, come together, then separate, come together and separate. When they separate, they do that healing work, and they process, and they look at their dynamics, and they look at themselves, and then they come back together, and then there's communication, and then they may separate again to go away and do some deeper inner work. The the karmics are still in their field. And they have a lot of responsibilities on their plate, and they're afraid to leave their old situations right now because of the ripples it's going to cause. So, and yet the cosmos is calling them to the next vibration because they've stayed stuck in that cycle for a very long time. And they haven't taken that step, that they haven't jumped when they've needed to jump. And so they just get, like, I just see this person being buried with responsibilities and everything, not everything that doesn't fulfill their soul. And they're getting stuck in cycles in the 3D, whereas their soul just wants to break free and move into the higher vibrations and experience a higher timeline and a higher expression of their soul. So that's kind of what's coming from the divine masculine. So I wrote a few things down. Overthinking, being in the mind a lot. Like I see the divine masculine holding his head and just processing. Then he gets tired and then he procrastinates and he needs to sleep, and then he gets all overwhelmed. Then he shuts the connection down, he shuts his feelings down, and he carries on with his work, or not focusing on the divine feminine. Yet she's always in his visions, she's always in his heart. Whenever he closes his eyes, he sees her. Whenever he is doing anything, she's in his field, in his all around him. Whenever he's dreaming, she's there. So he can't get away from her because she's part of him. I mean, now that he's realized this connection and he knows who she is, he knows in his heart who she is. When you know the truth, how can you go back to the way things were? You can't. The energy is moved, the connection is moved into a new space, and truths cannot be hidden again. The truth is the truth, and it's about accepting the truth and accepting the journey ahead and where it needs to go now. So he's looking at his karmic relationship that doesn't make him happy, and how and what he's going to do to break free. He's afraid of breaking free and the damage that it will cause others, but yet he's so miserable. And the word they're giving me is miserable. He's miserable in that connection, and there hasn't been any love there for a very long time. But he's learning some very important lessons from the karmic. And this is really important to know that, we go into karmic connections to learn lessons. So it's to learn the lessons, but when we've learned the lessons, it's to move on and to move forward. And when there's nothing growing there, like there's no growth there, he can't expand because he can't share his truth. He can't be vulnerable. He can't express himself. He can't share who he's becoming, how he's growing. So he keeps everything inside of him, and it's not serving him. And it's actually sabotaging him. It's actually keeping him in a low vibration. Actually, the people around him are of a low vibration, and he knows that he's outgrown that dynamic and that soul and that family dynamic and that family unit. He's outgrown that system, and he now needs to move into the next vibration of where his soul needs to take him, wants to take him, where his higher self wants to take him at this time. So he's struggling to take the step. He's struggling to take the step, though. Through August, he has been deepening his breath and connecting with his heart, and he knows now he has to take the step towards the divine feminine because he's afraid of losing her. Like, if he doesn't take the step and she goes on to other pastures green and starts doing other work and traveling or wherever she wants to go, he is afraid, really afraid. He's full of fear of losing his divine feminine. He knows that she is his, and he cannot see any other man with his divine feminine. He'll become very jealous of that. So if I can't have her, no one else can have her. So it's a little bit obsessive, the thinking at the moment of the divine masculine. But if I can't have her, no one can have her, so it's not he has to get out of that devil energy, but to take the steps, inspired action, to take the steps to, make the union, anchor the union. So stepping into September, it's about, okay, how can I take the action steps to make this union concrete, in the sense, how do I anchor this 5D connection into the physical. What do I need to do to make this progress? And that's what he's thinking about. And he's looking at the action steps, and he's thinking about the structure that it needs to take. And Spirit is saying to the Divine Masculine, don't try and control this connection, because you can't control it the way you want to control it. And neither can the Divine Feminine. It is a co-creation. And also it is being brought to earth from the divine. The divine is orchestrating this. So the guides are ready, like they literally, I can see them standing there. They're ready to take the two into the next vibration and support them and guide them. It is a very protected union, protected by the angelic kingdoms, Archangel Michael, very present for this union, Isis as well, Thoth as well, Horus. So the Egyptian High Council, very present. The Sirius High Council, very present. The Andromedans also very present for this connection. So they're holding this connection in divine light, but it requires each to take the steps that they need to move towards each other. Because this is a very key time for the unions to come together. So because they've got a legacy to build, they've got so much work to do together, but it's about trusting the connection, trusting the union. You can't see all the steps right now. You don't know how this is going to play out. So it's to let go of how you think it should play out. So both of them need to let go of control issues of how this needs to play out, but to surrender into the present moment and be like water and flow with the connection. And in the moment, step into the moment, feeling, sensing, speaking, sharing, and co-creating and becoming a team. That's what Spirit is asking them to do, become a team and learn together through each other by being vulnerable and being open. Because you're going to educate others about this union and how the dynamics work. You will be living examples of this union and divine union coming into oneness, and the challenges that you face to overcome your challenges. You will share that with others. So as they experience, they share with each other, they learn from each other, they will then go on to teach others through that process. They're also both, the feminine has cleared her karmic board, but the masculine is clearing his karmic board, so that he can step in to meet her at her level and at her vibration. So he is closing out. He needs to close out these karmic chapters and let go of the karmic, because that's going to bring his karmic board into balance. And the longer he stays in that, he's creating more karma for himself, because he's not listening to his higher self. He's not listening to his guides. He's self-sabotaging, so he's not loving himself. He's not stepping into his sovereignty and his higher path and his divine self. He's sabotaging by staying in the lower vibrations and staying in his human self and staying in his ego. So he's fighting his ego at the moment, which is the resistance that he's experiencing through this time. So he's not wanting to hurt anyone. He's keeping himself in cycles of non-action and entrapment, and that's suppressing and suffocating his soul. He's not showing up for the connection. It hasn't been balanced throughout August. So what happens is, if he's not showing up for the connection and the Divine Feminine is stepping forward to share her love and share her heart, there's an imbalance. And when that is in imbalance, what he's doing is actually pulling on her energy. He's taking from her, which means she's being depleted. So what that does energetically, he's getting a high from her beautiful, bright, angelic vibration. He's getting a high, but she's getting the side effects of the connection. So she's getting all his confusion, his overthinking, his and getting exhausted because she's being depleted. So this is where the feminine in August had to step back and say, right, a healthier boundary, that no, you can't step into this connection. Like, we're not doing this until you step forward and you meet me in a balanced space. You meet me in this space so that we can work on this together. But you cannot take from me. You cannot deplete me. And if you don't show up for this connection in the correct way, then I'm out. And she's set another healthy boundary, and she's stepped away from the connection at this time. So she will not go into this connection unless he is willing, the Divine Masculine is willing to meet her halfway. And and give in a balanced way. So she's not going to do like she's done before, all the giving, all the over giving, carrying everyone's responsibilities and doing all the emotional work for them, right? This is where the divine masculine has to step into emotional maturity and take responsibility for his emotions, but meet her at the same vibration so that there's this yin and yang figure eight, that it flows between them, the reciprocity, receiving and giving is in balance, not her giving like she used to give, and then she gets depleted and burnt out and tired, and the divine masculine is taking all her energy. She's done that. She's loving herself now. She's not repeating those cycles. So she's very aware, and whenever that takes place, she's able to catch it, step back and create a healthy boundary, step away and love herself some more, stay in her power, continue doing what she's doing, focusing on where she needs to focus, focusing on her mission and what she's here to create. And that naturally then calls the divine masculine to then step into more of his divine masculine energy and step forward in a balanced way. Self-respect for the divine feminine, but also the divine masculine, to learn to love and respect himself and his boundaries, learn to respect what he's going to accept moving forward and not. And also to start putting his divine feminine first. So if she's been at the bottom of his priority list, and he's saying, no, you're not at the bottom of my priority list, but I have to sort out my, he's looking at his finances, his structures, he's looking at everything, his structures right now and focusing on that. But he's not sharing his truth with the divine feminine. He's not sharing, and he needs to share. So he needs to communicate this with her, and because that's going to build trust. So this is something that's coming up between them. Trust, because the divine feminine has been very frustrated with the divine masculine, very frustrated. And Shiva is here. He's saying, see through the eyes of the soul. I've actually picked the cards today. See from the eyes of the soul. Divine feminines, let's just check in with the divine feminines and see what's going on with them. The word I hear is frustration, irritation, detachment. She's refusing to get caught up in codependent, dependent cycles. She's been there. She knows how her soul feels when she feels trapped and not able to express herself and not able to express her creativity, where she's judged or held back or feels that her light is not seen, is not allowed to be expressed. So she's pulling back and she's focusing on herself and her needs and her path and looking forward. And she's flowing like water into the new vibrations, happy to meet souls along the way and soul family, and open up to receiving and giving infinite love, unconditional love along the way. So she wants to express herself fully. She wants to dance and play. She is in the vibration of joy and lightness and freedom and flow. And she wants to stay in that vibration. And this is where the divine masculine has to meet her. She's not going to come and drop back into the vibrations of heaviness, of chaos, of conflict, which disturbs her peace and her harmony. She's staying in her vibrations and she's looking away. She's looking into other horizons and vistas, and she's just focusing forward. And this is really important for the divine feminine, because in the past, she's given her power away to the divine masculines. She's given her power away to others. And she's learnt through this time to stand in her empress energy, in her queen energy, and stand in her power. So that is a good thing. And that is absolutely exactly what she needs to do. She needs to focus on herself, focus on her path, focus on what she's creating, focus on forging the path forward, focusing on where Spirit and Mother Earth is taking her in the next new vibrations. They both have to have their individual lives, because it's an interconnected and interdependent relationship. So not dependent, not codependent, where one pulls on the other, but independent, sovereign, knowing themselves deeply, and then merging and flowing, both becoming leaders, and both able to detach from the connection, knowing that there is love there, always there is love there, but then going off and doing their thing and then coming together to deepen the bond. So they will continue to deepen the bond, but they've got to get over these challenges and these hurdles to then be able to go deeper. So they've been going through the karmic clearing, karmic purging, the overthinking mind, the toxic dynamics between them. They're looking at that. They're mirroring back to each other so that they can both come back into their own sovereignty and balance. And they're both helping each other to heal wounds of abandonment, so that they can reclaim all parts of themselves. The feminine has been healing her heart. The masculine has been calming his mind. And he's also learning to open his heart, to trust again, to trust that love is here for him because he hasn't felt that love for a very long time. He's no longer playing into addictions, or if there was a third party and he was pulled into another connection, he's no longer going down that route. He knows the truth. He knows that the divine feminine is his, his love in the deepest place in his heart. And so he knows that. And so he doesn't want to play the field anymore. He wants to focus on this connection, and he wants to focus on her going forward. So that was where we were at with the divine feminine. Weave your own destiny was the first card. So weave your own destiny, weave your own destiny. They both got to weave their own destiny. Their path is together, but it's also separate. They do have an incredible legacy to build together for the future generations, but they must know themselves deeply and know what they are here to serve and how they are here to show up. So weave your own destiny. You have to become sovereign in your own being. Accept the opportunity that is offered. The divine unions are sacred. They are relationships of the 5D coming to earth to serve humanity. They are sent by the divine, co-created by the divine, where the three have sat together in sacred space before they came to earth. They've chosen this. They've always known that they're meant to be on this path, to experience higher love, to embody their higher selves, to embody unconditional love. They've known this forever. So in the depths of their being, in every cell in their being, they know this truth, and they know this is their journey. This is their soul journey. So to accept the opportunity that is offered, look at that. There she is, the divine feminine standing with this. She's almost enticing the divine masculine. It's a very magnetic energy. Her energy is very magnetic. So she just, as she stands in her power, she's offering this cup to the divine masculine, and she's saying to him, look, accept the opportunity that is offered to you, because there is so much here that we are here to create. There's so much love for you. There's overflowing, abundant love for you. But look, he's standing there at the gateway, at the entrance, looking at her. There's the tour behind, but he's literally standing there staring at her. And she's standing with this cup saying, are you coming? Are you coming or not? Because if you're not coming, then this cup, I'll give it to someone else. But this is an opportunity. And the divine masculine is being called to accept this cup of love, this cup of expansion. He's going to receive so much from the divine feminine, but he must step forward to meet her. She's not coming back. He's got to step forward to receive that cup. So I love that image, actually. That's actually gorgeous, and it says so much. It says so much. Yeah, amazing. Embody ancient wisdom. Merlin awaits. When I take souls to Egypt, Osiris's temple, I see Melchizedek comes in, and so does Merlin, and so does Metatron. So we work with the flower of life, and we work with many Egyptian ancient alchemy tools. And Merlin is about ancient wisdom, the legends, bringing the mystical to earth. So he's reminding us to embody ancient wisdom, to remember ancient wisdom. These two have been together in infinite lifetimes. They've worked together. They've co-created together. They have been together in most lifetimes, and they're coming back together again in this lifetime to do their ancient work. They are ancient beings of light. And it's to remember the light that you carry within you and within your soul, to remember the light and the wisdom that you've carried from other lifetimes, the work that you've done together in other lifetimes. He's saying it's time to embody it and to remember your higher path and not stay stuck in the lower vibrations or in the 3D matrix. So remember your light, step into your light body, step into your higher self, because that's where you will connect with your divine feminine and this union. So Merlin, regeneration, death and rebirth. Yes, the masculine is going through a death and rebirth at this time. He's having to let go of his old identity and step into his new found identity and the new identity that wants to emerge through him. To allow the tower moments. The tower will take place and he can try and control it and push it back and, delay it. But spirit, the tower's coming. So if he doesn't take the step, the tower's coming anyway, because this is destined and fated, and the tower will fall. So Spirit is saying, start to make your moves, because the tower is going to fall anyway. And then it's like an ocean wave just washing through your life, and everything falls apart to be rebuilt again. But sometimes if we don't take the steps, then the tower does come, and Spirit moves us to where we're meant to be, because time's up. And I've done a few videos where I've said time's up, but really we are at that place. We can't stay in non-action. We are to move. We've got to build this new world and this new earth. And there is a soul contract here, and there's a deep, deep, deep soul bond between the two. And there's a remembrance and an awakening happening at this time in the divine masculine. So he's, having to break down to break through. And he's remembering, he's starting to remember. He's having visions, he's having dreams, he's connecting with the divine feminine in his dreams. He's talking to her telepathically. He's telling her how much he loves her, he's protecting her, he's with her. But she also needs to hear it in the physical. So it's not just in the 5D. You've got to build this connection in the 3D, 4D, in the physical world, because we have a physical body. So, it's to be together, talk to each other, to hear each other's voices, because the voice is also very activating for each other, for the soul, to look into each other's eyes as well, because that also activates the soul and the soul memories, and also the heartbeats beating together. By beating together, the heart starts to open and heal and open to love and receiving the divine feminine, divine masculine love for each other. So that also opens up stargates within them. So the mind, the eyes, the heart, and touch, like touch, communication, voice activation. These are the things that will help to awaken and accelerate the union here on earth. Purify your surroundings, transmutation, and the return of the truth. So purify your surroundings. Yeah, purify, move into a higher vibration. You're being called to move into higher vibrations, to surround yourself with high frequency music, to surround yourself and cleanse your space. So you can call in Archangel Michael, but also you can call in Saint Germain to cleanse your space, to clear out any density, any dark energies, to shield your light, and to know that you're protected at this time by the light beings, by your family of light, who are helping you to move through this transition. Look through the mist and find the mystery. Remember the truth. It's very easy to get caught up in the ego mind and resist what's happening, but Spirit is asking you and your guides are asking to look past the current energies, to look past what the mind is telling you, and to see from your heart, to see the connection from your heart, because that's where the truth lies. So that's really important. You are cherished and protected. Yes, I see this. And there's almost like a purple light around, almost like Saint Germain's light. But this union is protected. It comes from the divine. It is, coming to earth from a higher space. These divine unions are sacred. The yin and the yang of the cosmos. That's what this energy is about. So it's to remember that and to know that this union is protected and you will be supported as you take your steps. You are here to create, to activate your DNA. You've got things to create together. There is a lot they've got to create together, to build together, for this union then to be fully anchored. So it's to come together and start to build and create the legacy. Become the master you seek. You know, this journey is about mastery, of coming into union within the self, sacred union of yin and yang within ourselves, and that balanced space, alignment with source, but also becoming a master through this time. You know, you're going from a page to a king, and the feminine is going becoming an empress and a queen. She's in her empress and queen energy, and the divine masculine is being called to step into his king energy. So become the master you seek, you know, like Yeshua, like the guides. Become the master you seek here on earth, like Metatron. Find and hold your own power. This is what they're learning to do, the unions. They're learning to find their own power, to stabilize their own power, to stand in their truth, to set healthy boundaries, not to overgive in this connection, but to stand in their truth, in their higher light, in their soul self, and stabilize this frequency on earth. And as they do that, they stand in balance, yin and yang energy. So this is absolutely key. So those were the cards. September, I feel things will start to settle and move a little bit in the right direction. The energy is being grounded in the divine masculine. He doesn't want to lose his feminine, so he's kind of starting to think about how he's going to take the practical steps in Virgo season to meet his divine feminine in the space where she needs him to meet her. So that's really important. I'm going to do a quick reading of what Lord Shiva said. This was kind of personal, but it's also, I'm going to try and connect it to the union. So yes, dear one, it is me connecting with you again. The divine masculine is going through a purification. He is being forced to confront his ego and limitations. He is being forced to stop escaping and sit with his thoughts. He's looking at all the lifetimes all the times he's been deluded and sabotaged his happiness. He's facing the mirror now because the divine feminine has shown him and given to him in many, many lifetimes. And he needs to have the courage to do so again, to come forward to this union. Because of the divine feminines, the light that the divine feminine brings to his life, he's able to look at things he was not ready to face before. The deep transformation is underway. He's breaking free of doctrines and confronting the rules, the confinements, the religious beliefs, and the illusions of the false self. He's facing himself in any area in his life he has denied his joy. Let him process. He will emerge anew, clearer in his vision, clearer with what he wants, clearer with a united vision, and where he sees his future with the divine feminine. It is only the divine feminine. He wants to build, to create, to laugh, to dance, to play, to explore, to expand, to be close, to feel the heartbeat of his divine feminine against his chest. He will do whatever it takes to move towards his divine feminine, as this is where he sees his happiness and the horizon and the sunrise of a new day. He knows that the divine feminine is his gift sent by the divine, a gift only for him. And this makes him cry, to know that he wasn't forgotten, that he wasn't left and abandoned, that love is always there and will come in as a lifeline when we pray and call to the divine. He knows the divine feminine has come to pull him back out of his entangled web, but it's not for the divine feminine to do all the work and heavy lifting. He has to walk towards her. For the divine feminine, it's time to detach, stand in your power, and not to be enmeshed in his entangled mess and web of illusions. As the divine feminine stands in her power, he rebalances and can see what he needs to do. Her stillness brings him hope and peace. He cannot lose her. He will not be able to see her with another man. His heart aches for her and her alone. He knows what he has to do, and he's taking the steps forward. Shiva, the cosmic divine masculine. And that I channeled on the 28th of August, 2024, because he was so present and around me. So, divine unions, September coming back together into union communication, having done some process work and deep reflection in August, I feel the connection will start to move forward. Okay, so I will bring another channeling. My nose is going, the guides are with you might feel that my nose goes, but I will bring another channeling just to help you with the connection and anything that I receive for the unions. Okay, so sending everyone love. I hope you're well, and yeah, let's step into September with new focused energy about creation, co-creation, and building the legacy that we're here to build in alignment and in our power. And not overgiving and not losing ourselves in the connection, not putting the other on a pedestal, but standing in our own sovereignty and building together. And that's what it's calling. Okay, practical steps forward, sending you lots of love and see you all soon. Take care, everyone, and bye for now.